If you start using AI voice to find your clients' leads, are you going to get sued? Great question. And in this video, I want to answer that for you. AI voice is rapidly expanding and getting better every single day. Some of the AI voice agents we built for our clients sound incredible. Genuinely, like, it's hard to tell if you don't know it's AI, that it is AI. It is getting really, really good. But a lot of the time I get asked, is this legal? So in this video, I want to share my screen and talk you through the legalities of using AI voice. The first thing is I am not a lawyer, okay? Do your own research and speak to a lawyer before using AI voice to make sure you are fully compliant. This is purely for entertainment. This is just make-believe stuff, okay? This is just my theory on things. I am not a lawyer. Please do your own research. Don't come back to me if you get sued and say, Aaron told me this. Please don't do that. So AI voice has been deemed to be a robocall. This is mostly the US I'm talking about, by the way. Obviously, every country has its own laws on robocalls, AI voice. Most of this stuff is about US. So if you're in the US, this will apply. But honestly, most of this will carry on to different countries, but again, do your own research before actually implementing any sort of AI voice. So yeah, AI voice has been deemed to be a robocall, and therefore there's specific rules around how and when you can use robocalls. The most important is that your leads agree to receive robocalls when they opt in, right? So when you have a typical lead form and you've got a funnel or whatever it is, normally you've got a little checkbox that says, I agree to receive marketing, blah, 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 for your A2P and all that kind of stuff. You've got to change that slightly to make sure that people understand they're going to get phoned by an AI voice agent. So for example, something like this. By checking this box, I provide my prior express written consent to receive marketing calls, including calls made by using an automated dialing system or artificial or pre-recorded voice from blah, 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 at the phone number provided. I understand that consent is not required to make a purchase, blah, 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 right? So the key thing here is the bit where it says, including calls made using an automated dialing system or artificial or pre-recorded voice. Again, please double check this with a lawyer, whoever, but this is what I'm using and it's been working very well. And it just makes sure that you're compliant with most of the US laws, things like that. So the key thing is that people are opting in and saying, I agree to receive some sort of call from an AI voice. That covers new leads. But then what about things like database reactivation, right? A lot of people really like the fact that AI voice can just, you can plug in a bunch of old leads and it's going to go through and call them all. Well, if all of your old leads have opted into a form that looks something like that with that checkbox, then that's fine. You can phone them whenever you want within, with an automated AI voice call. That's not an issue. But what about leads that maybe you've got a client that's got old leads that they join your service, you want to do database reactivation, time to value, you want to get as much value for them as soon as they sign up for the service, which I'll talk about a lot. Then how do we make sure they're compliant? Well, great question. All future DVR campaigns will be compliant, providing you've used the opt-in, right? So any future leads that you get and any leads that, you do database reactivation for, that'll be absolutely fine, right? However, any old leads your clients have that have not explicitly agreed to receive robocalls, they must now agree before you can actually use AI voice to phone them. So what's some of the methods you can use to make sure they have explicitly opted in, even with a database reactivation campaign? So you can do this in multiple ways. The first is sending an SMS. This is my least favorite, right? You can literally send them a text saying, hey, we're going to phone you on an automated AI voice, blah, blah, blah. Do you agree, right? Most people are going to either completely ignore you, they're going to mark you as spam, or they're just going to, they're just not going to agree to this, right? So that's my least favorite, but that is a way of doing it. If you want to do it that way, maybe you can think of some smarter way of doing it. That way is not my favorite. The second is having some sort of valuable video with a consent box attached before they view, right? So let's say you're in the gym niche, right? And you've got a video about how to lose weight in blah, blah, blah amount of time, right? Lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks or something, right? And you hype up this video, you've got a special video, but before they can actually view the video, it's embedded on a landing page, and before they can view it, they need to put their name, email, phone number. And obviously with that, you can then put the consent box. At that point, they've re-opted in, and now you can use AI voice to phone them up, right? So it doesn't have to be a video. You can even use something like a lead magnet, right? Lead magnet with a consent box attached before download. Something of value that the person wants, and just put them through that little bit of a jump, that little hurdle of saying, hey, you've got to re-opt in before you can even access this, right? Also, that shows you the leads that are still warm and that they're actually still interested in whatever the pain they've got and whatever solution you have for that pain, right? It shows you who's still interested, which will be a good way of doing it. So they're my two favorite, either a lead magnet or some sort of valuable video, something like that, where they've just got to re-opt in is really, really powerful. Unofficially, right? Again, I'm not a lawyer, right? But the real game here is just not annoying the wrong person, right? The chance the US government actually coming after you and suing you and all that kind of stuff it's actually very low risk of that, right? Again, make sure you follow the rules. I'm not saying you shouldn't follow the rules, but if you didn't, the chance of them coming after you is a lot less than you might think it is, right? The main problem here is a TCPA lawyer, right? So all it takes is one angry lead to go to a TCPA lawyer who can then start a class action lawsuit, right? So if you've got a lead who is just bored and they're miserable and they just feel like they're having a bad day and they just want to take it out on you, right? All it takes is them to not opt in, to receive an AI voice call, and now they've got that evidence. They can go to a TCPA lawyer, and then that lawyer is going to start looking for more people that you might have done it to. They can create a class action lawsuit. So a class action lawsuit is essentially where a lawyer has multiple people suing you for the same thing, and they put them all in together. It can cost you a lot of money. And some pathetic people even do this for a living, right? They have a farm of phones and bait you into making non-compliant calls just so they can sue you, right? Like it's genuinely a whole industry where people just have phones, they just get phone calls, they see is it compliant or not, and they'll actually do things. They'll text you saying, hey, sorry, missed your call, can you call me back please? Because they know that every single time you make that phone call, it's more money for them and they can sue you for more money, right? It's honestly, it's a disgusting industry, but people are sad, people do that, people are pathetic. That is the world we live in, unfortunately. And like I said, they'll keep baiting you beyond that first call so they can collect as much compensation as they can. And most of the time, companies like yourselves, agencies, they get sued by private lawsuits, not by the regulators, like I said. So that's why you've got to make sure that a lot of the time, even if you are making non-compliant calls, if you just don't piss the person off, you'll be fine, right? So if you're doing other things like even just being polite in the way you phone them, right? Just making sure you send them a text first to make sure they know a call's coming, like giving them a chance to opt out, right? Things like that. It can be enough just to stop them angry people from having a bad day and taking it out on you, right? So most of the time it's actually private lawsuits, not the regulators that are actually suing companies like yours. And the cost can be brutal, right? So like I was saying, it's $500 for every non-compliant call, and it's $1,500 for every non-compliant call that was willful, right? So what's the difference here? If you make phone calls and you didn't realize they're non-compliant, that's $500 each dial. Every time you phone them, even if they don't answer the phone, right? They don't have to answer the phone. If you just ring their phone and make their phone like vibrate, make a noise, whatever, right? You actually phone them up, right? That is a $500 bill straight to them from you, right? That's what they can sue you for. It's $1,500 if you know it's non-compliant. If you're like, you know what, I don't care, just do this, get these leads, get booked appointments, whatever else. If you do that and you know it's non-compliant, it's $1,500 for every call. So when you're using AI voice, make sure you're using it in a compliant way. Make sure you're getting the consent from the leads before you use AI voice to phone them. Make sure you're being smart with database reactivation. And as AI voice gets even bigger, there's going to be more spotlight on this and people are going to start getting sued more. One other thing to mention as well is that you can't be deceitful with the AI voice, right? If you are pretending that the AI voice is a human, you're trying to impersonate someone, that's against the rules, right? If it was like using someone's voice or something like that, using 11 Labs, whatever it is, that isn't compliant, right? However, that doesn't mean you've got to declare it's AI voice. It just, if you're asked, is this AI? You need to be honest with them and say, yep, this is an AI assistant from blah, blah, blah. And you can just be honest with them, say it's AI voice. If you try to tell them, no, this is a human being, when it's actually AI, again, that's non-compliant. Make sure people are actually opting in for AI voice calls and making sure that any database reactivation campaign, people are re-opting in to receive those AI voice calls. And if they haven't, use some of the methods I said before. And also make sure you're not cloning someone's voice against make sure you're not trying to impersonate someone or cloning someone's voice without their permission. And if a lead ever asks one of your AI voice on the phone, hey, is this AI? Be honest with them, just say, yeah, I'm the AI assistant, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people won't mind, as long as it's a good AI voice and it's not breaking or anything like that. Most people won't have a problem with it anyway. So hopefully this video will help you stay protected while using the AI voice. My name's Aaron. I run a white label AI voice agency called Team Follow Up AI, and where each client's voice agent is completely custom built, we can literally do anything you want. So if you want any help with the AI voice stuff, if you want to be able to sell it to your clients without having to learn it all yourself, and even get all of my call center experience working with some big players like Gym Launch and the scripts and what actually converts best on the phone and getting the most booked appointments and shows and all that kind of stuff, we bring all of that with our service. So if you're interested in that, I'll put the link down below. Hopefully this video will help you stay safe while using the AI voice in your agency. If you like this video and want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.